In the early quiet of the day, before the world begins to move, you are left alone with your own mind. In this stillness, you ready yourself for the challenges ahead, not conflicts with others, but the inner struggles that test your patience, discipline, and control. Criticism is unavoidable. It arrives suddenly like an unexpected storm, often when your guard is down. Today, take a moment to settle in as we explore the timeless teachings of Stoicism. Together, we'll uncover 10 powerful lessons that show you how to face criticism with composure and intention rather than frustration or self-doubt. These principles are more than advice. They represent a way of living. Watch until the end to fully absorb each lesson. And now, let us begin. Lesson 1. Understand the nature of criticism. Criticism is nothing more than an opinion, an external force that you will never control. As Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Criticism, whether it is harsh or gentle, is a reflection of the critic, not of us. You are not defined by the words of others, but by how you choose to receive those words. In the face of criticism, you must remember that your power lies in your response, not in the criticism itself. Next time you face criticism, pause and remind yourself, this is their opinion, not a reflection of my true self. This mental shift can prevent you from taking criticism too personally, allowing you to respond with calm and reason. Lesson 2. Detach yourself from the ego. The ego craves validation and recoils at the slightest hint of disapproval. Marcus Aurelius consistently advocates for the control of the ego. He writes about the importance of humility and the dangers of pride. Criticism wounds only the ego, not the soul. By detaching yourselves from the ego, you free yourself from the pain of criticism. You become unshakable, grounded in the knowledge that your worth is not tied to the opinions of others. Practice mindfulness by observing your thoughts when criticized. Notice any feelings of defensiveness or hurt pride, and gently remind yourself that these are manifestations of the ego. By recognizing and distancing yourself from the ego, you regain control over your responses. Lesson 3. Embrace criticism as an opportunity for growth. Seneca, the wise philosopher, teaches us that the willing are led by fate, the reluctant dragged. Criticism, particularly when it is constructive, can be a valuable source of feedback. It highlights areas where we may be blind to our own faults or weaknesses. When you embrace criticism, you transform it from a weapon aimed at yourself into a tool that you can use to chisel away your imperfections. When criticized, instead of immediately dismissing it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Even if the criticism is delivered harshly or unfairly, there might be a kernel of truth that can help you grow. Lesson 4. Remain calm and collected. In the heat of the moment when criticism strikes, your natural instinct may be to defend yourself, to lash out, or to retreat in silence. But the Stoic does none of these. Instead, you pause, you breathe, and you respond with calm. As Seneca advises, to bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Your calmness disarms criticism, stripping it of its power over you. Respond not with emotion, but with reasoned judgment, staying true to your principles. Develop the habit of taking a deep breath before responding to criticism. This simple act can help you regain composure and approach the situation with a clear mind, ensuring that your response is measured and appropriate. Lesson 5. Reflect before responding when faced with criticism. Immediate reaction is the enemy of wisdom. Instead, take a step back, allowing yourself time to reflect. Ask yourself, is this criticism valid? What can I learn from it? Marcus Aurelius, in his Contemplations, would often remind himself, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. He believed that reflection allows us to rise above our immediate emotions and see the bigger picture. By taking time to reflect, you ensure that your response is measured, thoughtful, and aligned with your values. In reflection, you find clarity and purpose. Lesson 6. Separate constructive criticism from malice. Not all criticism is born from a place of goodwill. Some seek to harm, to belittle, to provoke. But as Stoics, you must learn to discern the difference. Constructive criticism is a gift, even if wrapped in harsh words. Malice, on the other hand, is an empty vessel, devoid of value. As Epictetus teaches, it is impossible for a man to learn from his mistakes. You need to approach each critique with an open mind, but you are not deceived by those who seek to harm you. Separate the wheat from the chaff, keeping only what serves your growth. Evaluate the intent behind the criticism. If it seems to come from a place of malice, let it pass without taking it to heart. If it is constructive, even if delivered poorly, use it to improve yourself. Lesson 7. Do not take criticism personally. Criticism often feels like a personal attack, but it is not. It is merely the projection of another's perspective. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself daily, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. By choosing not to be offended, you maintain your inner tranquility. Criticism, when viewed as a mere opinion, rather than a personal affront, loses its power to harm. It is about the critic, their experiences, and their perceptions. By not taking it personally, you maintain your inner peace and focus on what truly matters. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that criticism is not about you as a person, but about a specific behavior or decision. This mindset helps you to remain objective and focused on the facts rather than on your emotions. Lesson 8. Respond with grace, not bitterness. Bitterness is a poison that you administer to yourself, hoping it will harm others. But as Stoics, do not indulge in such self-destructive behavior. Instead, respond to criticism with grace and dignity. Seneca tells us, a good character, like a good piece of art, is perfected not in a day, but by frequent handling. Handle criticism with the same care, shaping your response with the intention of maintaining your character. Grace in the face of criticism is the mark of a true Stoic. When responding to criticism, choose your words carefully. Aim to respond in a way that is respectful and composed, even if the criticism was unjust. This approach disarms the critic and maintains your integrity. Lesson 9. Know when to ignore criticism. Not every critique deserves your attention. Some are frivolous, others are baseless. As Stoics, practice discernment, knowing when to engage and when to walk away. Epictetus advises, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these. By choosing your battles wisely, you conserve your energy for what truly matters and remain focused on your higher purpose. Develop the discernment to recognize when criticism is not worth engaging with. Trust your judgment and let go of the need to respond to every critique. This practice frees you to focus on your personal and professional growth. Lesson 10. Let criticism be a mirror. Finally, use criticism as a mirror to see yourself more clearly. Do not shy away from the reflection it offers, but instead, look deeply into it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Criticism, when viewed through the lens of, becomes a guidepost, pointing towards the areas where you can improve, grow, and excel. Allow it to shape you, but do not let it define you. After receiving criticism, take time to reflect on what it reveals about you. Ask yourself, what changes you can make to become a better version of yourself. This mindset turns criticism into a valuable resource for personal development. In the end, criticism is a part of life, a part that you cannot avoid but can master. As Stoics, choose to face it with courage, wisdom, and an unyielding spirit. Stand firm in your principles, knowing that your strength lies not in avoiding criticism, but in how you respond to it. For in the face of criticism, you do not merely survive, you thrive. Good day.